Hey guys, and welcome to a quick review of Warhammer 40k's Darktide. This review is going to be for those who are going to be coming over from Vermintide, or those who couldn't get access to the closed beta, just so they know what they're going to be expecting once the game releases on November 30th. So far, I have a lot of good things and a lot of bad things that I'm going to be eventually talking about in this video. But for now, we're going to go over some of the things that happen when you first start the game. So when you first start the game, you load up to this screen, and I'm sure that'll change. There'll be a title card and all that kind of neat stuff when that happens, but you'll get to pick an operator. And one thing that I like over the Vermintide section is that when you actually pick a class, so for example, we're gonna make a Psyker, you get details about what the class is about, similar to how it did in Vermintide. But after you choose this, you could see all the different abilities, the iconics, the blitzes, the auras, and the unique weapons that come with them. So they get 4 swords and 4 staves. Some of the other classes also get uniques to them, but they do carry over into other classes at higher levels. You actually get to create your own lore-friendly character, which is pretty unique considering how Vermintide has you locked to a very specific character. So we have Crucius, Masselina, Gloriana, we have Roseria, we have Brax Magna, we have Ikron, we have Cadia, we have Mornax, and we have Pavane. Now, I'm just gonna pick random things as we go, but the game goes through a bunch of different steps that make you really want to flesh out your character, and it's not explicitly explained, but I believe that when you pick through these things, they actually affect the character creation process at the end. So for the first one that I did, I had a militia lackey. So for this one, I'm just going to be an algae farmer. And then obviously for this one, I chose Outcast for my other character. So for this one, we're going to do Self-Reliance. Our defining moment, I'm going to pick a Psychic Awakening, just because I'm playing a Psyker. And something that I've noticed that's already different from my original character that I chose to be completely militaristic is that these defining moments, childhood memories, all that stuff are completely different than the ones that I got for my sharpshooter. So that's something to take note of and be aware of when you do things. Now you actually get to create your own character. And like I said, I believe that a lot of the stuff that happens to your character is completely randomized based on the stuff that you choose. Then you get to choose either a male or female body type. There's a couple different faces you can choose. Obviously, I'm going to delete this character and pitch it the moment that I get through everything that I want to talk about. There's eye color. You can also choose to make your character completely blind in one eye, and you could choose which eye, or you could just have them perfectly normal-sighted. Cadia has color specific to their eye color. One of my friends that I'm going to be bringing in, Classicus Hatticus, or better known as Classy Hats, is going to explain later why that is, because it's apparently a bunch of lore of why these people have different eye colors in the Warhammer. There's also a decent chunk of hairstyles, decent amounts of facial hair. There's some facial tattoos, some body tattoos, scars, and a height slider. Now, through the process that I've played this game, there seems to be a better emphasis on being shorter than taller. And I'll mention more of that later as well. Well, we're going to just continue with everything that we've gotten. And then for our eye color, obviously I have to switch to that so I can continue. And then you also get a choice of 3 voices. And the voices matter a lot. because you're going to have to actually listen to your character banter with other characters throughout the entire thing. Just like you did in Vermintide whenever you were playing the elf and you shot the dwarf with an arrow. There's banter there. There's going to be banter during hordes, banter during boss fights, after you kill the boss. Everything that you got in Vermintide is pretty much here. But I would say it's significantly better than it was in Vermintide. So let's just take a quick look at the sounds and the personalities, because they're going to be different for each class as well. But they're going to mesh very well no matter which you choose, especially with another character of a different class. So let's check out the Savant.
I should have known the enforcers would not tolerate me forever. My skills they valued, but my nature, that they despised.
I've dreamed many dreams before, but never like this. They're normally nicer, with delicious food and flowers and comforting colors. Ooh.
It seems that no matter how low I set my expectations, it can always get worse. A lifetime spent in the mire, hiding from the witch seekers and...
So as you could tell, there's obvious differences. The first one sounded very posh. The second one sounded like a witch. And then the third one just not my flavor, but it kind of sounded like a little kid. But whatever works for you and sets you up to how you feel about it is awesome. Now, this is where the game takes place, and probably is why you can choose what your character looks like. So, you are sentenced to this gorgeous, gorgeous hub world. And it's amazing how much detail they put into this hub world. And it was honestly the first time that I ever really looked up in a video game and liked how much better it looked up than it did at base level. But when you start off this game, there's 4 different colors for your garbs that you get. As, at least in the beta, when you level up, at 5, 10, and maybe at 20, 25, and 30, you get different attires that change out of these garbs and make you into what I believe is called the Penile Squad. Basically stating that you were sent to prison, you are now a guard who does basic necessities that they ship you off basically as a suicide squad to get shit done and then come back. So green is one of them, red is one, sedation, which is blue, is one, and then derelict of duty, which is yellow. Obviously, a lot of this is just for the Warhammer people who are really high into the lore, really enjoy everything. And I could tell you, pretty much everybody that has played this, that I've seen that's played in AUTOGUN specifically, has been lore friendly to the point that I don't think anybody who's played in AUTOGUN has had more than 5 letters for their name. So like Crumb, Bonk, Bam, Bash, Crush, all of them have been AUTOGUN names. And I highly appreciate the people who have been just super lore friendly with the game and just having the blast with it and being crazy with it. So we'll just randomize their name. It doesn't really matter. I don't think we could change your name after we start this point. So that becomes an issue if you do eventually get sick of your character's name. You might have to restart an entire new character. Maybe in the main game they'll have a way to change it. But for now, that is not possible.
Oh, welcome to the Psychonium, little one. Let's make a soldier of you.
So just like in Vermintide, you start off right into the tutorial. They teach you everything you need to know about the game immediately right off the bat. And then they also have an advanced course for those who want to learn some of the more advanced techniques. Honestly, the advanced techniques aren't that worthwhile to learn, so I recommend skipping those. And if you ever feel like maybe you want to go back and learn them, there's a beautiful thing in the hub that allows you to do so. So once you load into the hub, you'll be surrounded by everybody else who's also loading into the hub. So you'll actually be able to meet and see other characters in here when they load in and just look at this gorgeous entirety of this prison. One thing of note that I really love from a lore standpoint, my friend told me that these are Inquisitors all the way at the top that are watching over us. So basically everybody else down here is working or a criminal. So it really just adds to the whole focus of what this game really has to offer and tells you how lowly you actually are. So when you first start off, this will be completely locked for you. This is a level 11 thing. Might change later in the full release, but right now, Sire Milk's Requestatorium. You'll be able to get contracts. You'll be able to get 5 for the entirety of the week. And then once you complete it, you get a bunch of reward points, which you can then spend on specifics. So we have legendaries and we have epics. And it's just like every other looter shooter or every other Vermintide that they've released. You start off with white gear. You start off at a low level. You boost everything up. You raise your rank. You raise your gear level. And then you immediately go straight into murdering everybody and everything once you start getting the good stuff. It seems that chainswords, just from a demo perspective, have been locked to legendary only. As I'm sure there's a bunch of other stuff that are locked specifically to legendary style. So you should take note if that's what you're looking for. Don't worry. You could probably get it for any class, except maybe the Ogdens. And you'll be able to get anything crazy like that. Over here, this is probably where, like in Vermintide, we'll be able to learn more lore about the stuff that we've accomplished and have extracted from the mission successfully. Over here, we have another person that has not been set up yet, but based on the looks of their style, I'm going to assume this is where the premium shop is going to be. It makes sense to put it a little bit out of the way so we don't feel like we're getting forced into buying anything, but at the same time, it's right next to probably your most important area, especially when you're leveling up, the Armory Exchange. So after every mission, you get paid in credits. Obviously, that's how it's going to work. And then as you level up, you'll start off with whites and greens. Then eventually you go to greens and blues. And then now I have purples, blues, and greens as well. And all of them get significantly higher in price the better off the gear are. In the hub world, right here, this is where you're going to be signing up for your missions. The missions so far have been pretty rough. Mostly because there's only 4 missions and they all play pretty much the same unless it's difficulty, which is what Vermintide has mostly always been about. The higher the difficulty, the more crazy stuff that happens within a level that you've already played. So they have an assassination. They have a raid to get some ammo. They have a smelter where you have to awaken the machine spirit. And then they also have a metal fab where you have to install some cooling rods and you're good to go. Another thing that was like this, that's a little bit different from Vermintide, that might push some people away and might bring some more people in. There are modifiers to each mission. Level 4s and above can get endless hordes on their missions, which make the game a little bit more interesting, a little more fun, a little more crazy. But at the same time, only level 2 missions and above can get these secondary missions, if they even have any up right now. Here we go. This one, it's a level 2 mission and above. So there's 3 different types of secondary objectives. Just in the demo, there might be more later on. So there's recover 3 missing tomes, recover 2 grimoires, and recover 6 relics. The relics are just a very basic collection mission. You just go throughout the level, you find them. Sometimes they're marked, sometimes they're not. Don't know if it's a bug, but always keep an eye out. They're little blue orbs, real easy to find. The missing tomes, they're a little bit harder. They take up your secondary slot. So you have a primary, you have a melee, And then you have your grenades, and then you have a secondary slot. The secondary slot only holds ammo and medkits that you can use for the team. They take up that slot, and you can't get rid of them once you pick them up. And if you die with them, they're permanently gone. Grimoires work the same like they did in Vermintide. They take off a chunk of your health. That's it. You can't fix it unless you drop the grimoire and leave it, and then go to a hell station. Another part of the hub world that will probably have something eventually is, I believe this will be a crafting station. There are things that you pick up in missions that are called plastiles, and other ones that are called diaminites. I probably butchered that name as well. That is perfectly okay to flame me. But you should be able to eventually craft your own gear and make it better, or maybe even improve your old gear to maybe a higher quality. And then, of course, over here in this little gorgeous hub is the Psychanium. It's basically just a simulation VR pod that you go back inside of. It takes you back through the tutorial, just in case you haven't played in a minute and you just want to refresh your skills and abilities.
Would you recommend the shotgun or the autogun?
The shotgun over the autogun, honestly.
Yeah, I've been using the shotgun, but I have access to autoguns.
That's another thing that I was gonna bring up in my video, was like the difference in power between some of the weapons is actually really ridiculous. Like, the autogun by far is probably the weakest gun that I've tested, and the shotgun works like a fucking sniper rifle.
Well,
I've been able to take people down with like minimal issues.
The difference between a lasgun and an autogun is reasonable, because an autogun is automatic and a lasgun is semi-automatic. But I think the shotgun has something weird with its damage calculation, because like on bigger targets, if you just like load into them with the shotgun, they die like super fast.
Yeah.
Like specifically that Chaos Captain.
Yeah.
In a way that I don't think that's intentional.
Yeah, probably not.
So like if there's like a place to leave comments, like I'm definitely gonna mention that, like, hey, like shotguns, especially the Ripper gun, are like they feel overtuned. I don't know if that's intentional.
We're gonna do a level 1 assassination. A good portion of my review is also going to be comparing it to Vermintide, because I'm assuming a lot of the people that are going to be coming to this game are going to be coming from Vermintide.
Yeah, it is pretty much Vermintide with a 40k skin.
Yeah.
And, like, to me, that's all it needed to be.
Yeah, same.
But also there's some differences, like there is more of an emphasis on guns, like a lot more of the enemies have guns. And I feel like on the higher difficulties, like a lot of them are going to have ranged weapons.
Yeah, if not all of them.
I am kind of concerned about the Augurin. I'm not sure the amount of extra health he has is good enough trade-off for health. And obviously, like with a human-sized character, you can like get covered, but with an Augurin, you're big.
Yeah.
And also, you don't just have to worry about like the enemies hitting you, but you have to worry about your friends hitting you too.
Yeah.
Especially
Although,
because
to
you're
be
in
fair,
front of them.
No. I haven't noticed that much friendly fire damage on like level 1 and level 2, but I haven't really checked on like level 3.
How it works with Vermintide is the lower levels you don't have friendly fire.
Yeah.
So on the higher levels, I think you'll actually have friendly fire damage.
Yeah, and then I wonder how much the percentages are. I'm sure it tells you in there,
This
but I don't know.
is in substandard repair.
But that's definitely something that's concerning. Because like he's meant to be in front, he's meant to be in melee.
Yeah, but then everybody else is meant to, you know.
And maybe it's just like a skill issue, because like maybe I could be like off to the side, but a lot of times you don't have that option either. And that doesn't solve the fact that like you're a bigger target for the enemies as well. I don't know. Weird.
Just have to see how it plays out.
Yeah.
So currently, while I'm running the shotgun, I've implemented the I have 20% faster reload with my
Sharpshooter! Return fire!
oh shit.
Open up!
Oh, there's a sniper downrange.
Yeah, I'm not sure how far downrange.
I can go get him. No, he's running away. Get back here, you bitch.
Final blast,
I'm running a new perk.
Slippery
Under
floors,
50%
troubling
health,
echoes,
I get
and a
like
smell
increased
you can
attack
cut
speed,
with
and
a
under like
knife.
20% health, I get even more attack speed. So we'll have to see how that
Knock
works.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Show me how to do that!
Somebody got it.
Yeah. Yeah. The shotguns like seem to have like a bit more range, or at least each pellet seems to have more pop to it. At first, I thought that was just because I was using the AUTOGUN shotguns. So like,
Got some Medicaid
obviously the
here,
rounds
son.
would be chunkier, so I thought that was why.
Alright, so what did you say was up with the Medi station or the Medicaid stations?
So I don't know if you see it, but like the objective markers, like the Medicaid station's
some
here,
healing.
but the logo for it is here. It's like up here.
Oh, that might be for you because it's literally right here in front of me on the red dot.
Yeah, that might just be a bug, but
Yeah. Something at least worth mentioning.
again, it is beta, so like.
Yeah, I'm not expecting anything spectacular from beta. I'm expecting this to be, hey, we want you guys to play this, have fun with it, let us know, get some feedback, and then be like, oh yeah, by the way, there's these bugs that weren't caught by your playtesters, because your playtesters don't actually care to playtest games anymore. So here you go, and here's the fixes.
Now, one thing I can comment on, because I think this is like an artistic choice, I feel like the objective markers are not very visible. It's either like they're not there, or it's hard to see them. I just get lost. But again, I don't know if that's just because I'm blind. Oh yeah, I'm definitely attacking that.
So I currently have an axe, and I'm not a big fan of it. It doesn't swing fast
yeah.
enough for me.
Oh, you have the same action as me. God, yeah. Yeah, your heavy attack is pretty much just a single target, by the way.
Well, I'm not even using the heavy yet.
Actually, for some reason, I'm doing side hits now. Why am I doing side hits? There we are.
Not a bad shot, not at all! Stop healing!
My faith is my shield.
Blood for the blood god. Something, something, something. Corn for
I'll
the
get a little bit more.
cornflakes.
Blood for the golden throne. Alright, what is it? Blood for the god emperor, skulls for the golden throne.
Ascended D16 in position. Why are you still here?
Okay, I need to get. I'm getting too spicy.
I mean, you can stay in front of this healing circle.
I mean, maybe. I was trying to stay under 50% health.
Yeah. Is there a thing, like an ability you get for being below 50% health?
Yeah, I just got a feat. If I'm below 50% health, I get increased attack speed. And then if I'm below 20%, I get even more attack speed.
Ah, okay.
I might switch it out because there was one that just had like a flat crit bonus. It runs like seemingly well in my system, by the way. I remember having like kind of issues with Vermintide graphics-wise. I am on low, but still.
I'm on high, so this'll
You're on high.
Stop talking,
This'll give
shooting
a,
the soldier!
general
It,
idea.
and this is like a beta. Like, betas aren't really optimized anyway, right?
Correct. I still get frame rate issues. Oh fuck,
We got
that was a
it!
boxer.
We got it!
Oh yeah, same. Especially like when a lot of enemies are on screen. But it's manageable. I don't have my FPS on the screen right now. But...
Oh god.
Not one of my better days.
You're running too far. Jesus Christ.
No such thing. God. Blood for the blood god.
I felt bad earlier. I was like berserking like crazy earlier.
I mean,
My
plus
teammates
they're
were
all
like,
our
"Hey."
level anyway on a level 1 mission, so like,
Oh,
they're
true.
just as overtuned as us. So like, there's no reason that they should be like falling behind, especially when there's no secondary objectives.
Maybe they're just looking for plastic.
I mean, I guess, but as far as I can tell, in the current state of the game, there's no. I don't want to say no reason. There's no hounds. No hounds. But there's
No hounds?
no
No choice then.
Oh, maybe they're
crafting
looking
or anything
for,
for it. So like,
Maybe they're looking for the power. Oh, you found the power cell. Never mind.
I mean, the power cell's
I don't
not
know.
like ever farther than like 15 feet from the thing. So like,
Yeah, that's another thing. Like, I don't get what the
I don't
point
know if
is.
that's a difficulty level thing or if it's just design choice.
Oh, trapper. I killed the trapper. Those trappers come out of fucking nowhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, if I were to do it, I would put them, like, farther away. Like, not, like, too far away, but enough so that you see a medi station, you're like, okay, let's hunt around for a power cell, see if we can turn it on. Or maybe have multiple stations that also use power cell. So like an ammo fabricator or...
Yeah, so you have to pick and choose what's gonna be best for you.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I don't know if that's like outside of the scope of the game, or that's just speculative.
It might be for this kind of game. Like, it makes sense if this was like a 4-player co-op campaign mode and not much of like a semi-looter shooter thing. I don't know what's the best way to describe this. Like, I understand people are gonna call it like a Left 4 Dead, but realistically, I don't know what's the best thing to call like the Warhammer games that are like this. They're like Left 4 Dead-esque, but they have like looter shooter elements with the gear and the gear sport.
So you can aim after all.
Probably just like a co-op looter shooter, maybe.
Yeah, the thing is, like with looter shooters, you have an
trip
open world
coming
to
up.
explore, and these are like gated segments.
Stop showing up!
So things like Destiny also have like a lot of decent stuff. Like they have open worlds, yeah, but
They do have gated endgame content, but I even consider like Destiny not even really a looter shooter. It's, I guess it's more or less kind of like this too.
Something!
Sighted in! Engaging!
Stand down!
I don't know. And like looter shooters are more like Borderlands, right?
Yeah, like Borderlands, where it's an open world, you farm a specific boss for a specific piece of loot that drops that's really good for your build and optimizes your build and gives you experience and stuff.
I'd say it's along the lines of Vermintide, and especially, Left 4 Dead, and especially Payday. Because Payday also has that kind of progression.
Crypt
Yeah.
key clearance elevated.
And it's good. It's a good question of what do you call those kinds of games? Because they're like looter shooters, but they're not looter shooters in the essence of
Like, I don't
you
think
farm a
there's-
specific thing to get a specific thing. It's like you farm everything to get better stuff, and everything progresses you.
Does Left 4 Dead have loot? I thought you just picked up stuff in the level.
Yeah, Left 4 Dead does that, but the new quote unquote Left 4 Dead game that people play a lot now is Back 4 Blood.
To these blocks.
Oh, do they have the same sort of loot system as this?
In a sense, you have cards, and cards have progression, and they give you levels, and it's very roguelike. It's weird. I think that's why a lot of people didn't like it. It's because it was very roguelike-esque. Because you had to pick cards, and the cards affected how you leveled up.
Impressive, I suppose. You have exceeded projections.
Okay, that's pretty good attack speed.
Yeah. It wasn't too bad.
Oh no, I got pretty low health, so I just decided to start swinging just to see how much it increased.
That's a fair point.
Also, I don't know if you've seen this issue, but like the icons that are like over items and like the Medicaid station and stuff, like they're offset.
What do you mean?
Like they're
by
like
that
a few,
offset?
they're like a few feet off from where they're supposed to be. So like I'm looking at the Medicaid station, and the Medicaid station icon is like a few feet off to the left.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, like with actual critiques to the demo though, I don't know when you want to do that, but like I would want to focus more on like game feel or like basic shit. Because a lot of stuff like
Negative
minor
1 point
bugs and
already.
network
Classicus died.
issues, like network issues and that sort of stuff, like that could change.
Yeah.
Like, this is the beta. Yeah.
So let's talk about the good of Warhammer's 40k Darktide. So, Darktide feels extremely good. The graphics are great. The gunplay is good for most of the weapons. I'll talk about some of the ones that I think need improvements or augmented changes. The character customization is probably one of my favorite things. I always love that I can make a character and design it and choose it to be anything that I want. Even if I have a limited selection, it's at least better than running around looking like everybody else. I'm very happy that there's going to be cosmetics. Cosmetics also add a lot of detail and changes to your own character that make you stand out from everybody else. And the price point of the game is relatively cheap compared to a lot of other games that are similar to this, like Back 4 Blood, other looter shooters that are very structured like this. And I personally think that for a demo, especially with the game coming out next month, November 30th, it'll be a very, very fun game to swap over to play, especially with friends. Some of the neutral things that I'm about that I hope either get looked at, touched up, or changed. There's no crossplay. I'm not a huge fan of no crossplay, especially in our day and age, but I can completely understand if you are just focusing on one aspect of the game, which is just making sure that everybody who has it plays it for the allotted amount of time that you're going to be making it for, especially if you have something else in the works, and this is just a side project. It seems like a lot of Warhammer products that aren't Vermintide or ones like this are usually either side projects or ones that start off as side projects that eventually grow into something bigger. Because Vermintide started off kind of rough, and then it got a lot better. And I've seen it grow significantly in the player base, as well as just the amount of stuff that they've thrown in there. Another thing is, obviously this is a beta. It's thrown out there to be tested, but there are a lot of server issues and other stuff. But they offset that by allowing you to send in your info, see why everything's breaking, and question the entirety of the structure of the game sometimes. But they do allow you to join back in immediately. Doesn't matter where you were, you join back in with the same group. I'm assuming there's a time limit, but the fact that you can even just rejoin in the middle of a session that you just got disconnected from is a huge bonus and a huge plus to offset everything. And that'll probably go into the good side once the game comes out and they fix some of these issues and figure out why things are happening in the way they are. Now, some of the bad sides of the game that I want to talk about. So the first one is guns. Specifically, the las gun, the autogun, and the weapon-specific made for the Ogdens, the Ripper gun. When you use the las gun, it can feel a little disjointed when starting off. The fire rate is really terrible. It's kind of slow. It makes like playing a sharpshooter feel really bad. But I assume that's like that for all classes. I only played the sharpshooter during the demo because I really like guns. I wasn't really going to play anything magic, and I'm not really big on melee, so I wasn't going to play an Ogden. So that really only left me with the Preacher, and I kind of wasn't going to touch him because the beta was short in reality. It was a weekend, but it gave them enough data to do what they needed to do. The autogun feels incredibly weak. Even a purple one that I've had that I've been using on my sharpshooter, it feels really weak. I feel like I'm throwing bullets into everything on a 2-star mission, which using a purple on a 2-star mission, you realistically should be murdering everything because it is a high tier weapon that you're supposed to use on 3 and 4-star missions. And I felt like I was just smacking them with tissue paper Nerf bullets. It was bad. But the Ripper gun for the Ogdens, my friend was using a white one on a 3-star mission that we were fighting the assassination target. And I don't know if it was specific to that mission, but he essentially soloed the boss. He would take one full ammo clip of the Ripper, break the shield. One full clip, break open his health bar until he got back his shield. Repeated the process while everybody else just killed the hordes. And it was just unfair, and it was a little strong. And I will say the same about the shotgun, base shotgun that the humans can use. It honestly can be used like a sniper rifle, with maximum damage going out from all the pellets hitting the same target. There's not really that much spread on these shotguns. They're little square boxes instead of being like big gaping maws that you would expect for shotguns. They're very cluster focused, which good and bad depending on how powerful you make them. But overall, I think this game's going to do very well for Warhammer fans. It's going to be very lore heavy, very lore friendly for those who enjoy that kind of aspect. But if you're coming into this game expecting it to be the next looter shooter that you're going to have a lot of fun with, if you're not a part of the Warhammer community, I don't see that being that for you. Especially if you're coming from Vermintide over to this. I don't think if you are just coming for something new to do, it's going to be the game for you. I think that, like most Warhammer games, they're going to be very lore heavy. They're going to be very focused on you actually knowing a lot of the lore and how everything works together with the god Nurgle and why all his pestilent buddies are causing issues here and why we need to fix them. So overall, I'm going to give this game a solid 6 out of 10, 5 being the average. Guns, great. Character customization, great. A little bit of issues with the servers and frame rate, but I'm sure that'll be fixed by the time November 30th comes around, and some adjustments to some weapons should be coming out pretty good. Until then, I hope to see you guys on November 30th when the full game releases, when I give my 100-hour review of the game after I try and bust it up and break it up with some bugs and glitches and all that other crazy stuff. I'll be streaming it here on YouTube. Until then, you guys take care, stay awesome, and I hope to see you guys on the next one. Bye, guys.